Right now, Polish President Karol Nawrocki is set the White House today, sitting down with President Trump to talk security, energy, and that ongoing crisis in Ukraine. This is DC Dispatch. I'm Kristi Leigh. The visit from the Polish president is a huge moment for U.S.-Poland ties, and we are going to be breaking all those details down with our Kara Castronova in just a moment. Also coming up, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden is joining us to react to President Trump's potential change of heart concerning Operation Warp Speed. Feel like that's a big question mark. And RFK Jr.'s CDC shakeup. And we are still looking for accountability with Epstein. The search for Epstein answers continues. We'll have that as well. But first, quick reminder, we want you to be part of this process. Join our editorial board. Send us your news tips and ideas, who you want us to talk to. You can do that at news@LindellTV.com. That's news@LindellTV.com. And you can also join the conversation over on Vocal if you feel like you're being shadow banned or not being heard over there, even on X after being under new ownership. Then try out Vocal. You can find me there at Kristi Leigh TV at vocal.com. All right, we're diving in today to today's major meeting with Poland's new president. Kara Castronova has been covering this. She is live in DC with how that meeting is going and what we're talking about.
Yes, please.
Hi, Kara.
Hey, how are you? I'm so sorry. We're having technical difficulties right now. Here at the White House, it was a really, very much a crowded day. A lot of media here. So someone actually took some of our equipment, believe it or not, here at the White House. Sometimes it's like the Hunger Games with the media, especially on a big day like today, when a Polish president or world leaders come. Media is here from all over the world, and today was really no exception. It was a great meeting for President Trump. He has a lot, obviously, in common with the Polish president, and had a lot of good things to say about him. The day really kicked off beautifully with some fighter jets. There were right above the sky here at the White House, and it was actually beautiful to witness. I witnessed them right from the gates of the White House. So we do have that clip. If you guys could cue that clip up of those fighter jets that were flown over the White House upon the arrival of the president of Poland.
I believe
Very cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the president witnessed that, obviously, with the president, Nawrocki, and he welcomed him to the White House as well. There was a lot of press in the room in the Oval Office asking a variety of questions. But here is President Trump welcoming the Polish president to Washington, D.C. earlier today.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have President Nawrocki with us, Poland. He did a good job with that, right? Gave me a little different pronunciation. I said, I want to get it perfect. Did I get it right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, Nawrocki.
I better get it right. And the president's been amazing. He had an incredible race. He came from behind, and he won very handily. The people of Poland have taken to him immediately. They really love him. There's great love and respect. He's a very successful man, but he went into a political hatchet, so to speak. It was a pretty tough race, pretty nasty race, and he beat them all, and he beat them all very easily. And now he's become even more popular as they got to know him and know him better. He's doing a really fantastic job. So it's an honor to. I also endorsed him, so I'm very proud of that. I don't endorse too many people, but I endorsed him, and I was very proud of that. The job he's done. I want to thank Vince Haley for that recommendation. Vince was fantastic, and I appreciate.
Yeah,
Nawrocki.
so
I like how you said it.
Yeah, Nawrocki, it's phonetic. I had to actually Google how to pronounce that without botching it, because obviously President Trump took the time to do that as well. So it's Nawrocki, President Nawrocki, who, a little background on him, is they call him a nationalist. He ran a Trump-like campaign of Poland first, which is interesting. And he was one of the world leaders who actually had President Trump's endorsement, which is not common for President Trump to actually endorse a world leader in an election. President Trump today pledged continued support, reaffirming strong and continued U.S. troops presence in Poland. He even offered to increase deployments. We'll put anything more there if you want, is what he said, I believe was the quote. In terms of security and defense cooperation, talks focused on Ukraine's war, obviously, NATO's eastern flank, and energy security. Poland, who is already a major buyer of U.S. arms, seeks further reinforcement, and President Trump did commend the Polish president, now Rocky, for always contributing more to NATO. That is what they're known for, more than any other European nation. They are giving more to NATO than others. A military symbolism there today. The visit included, like I mentioned earlier, and we have a clip coming up shortly regarding that flyover and what it symbolizes and the pilot that it symbolizes. But that flyover of that F-16 and F-35 fighter jets over the White House represents a missing man formation. It's a missing man formation paying tribute to Polish F-16 pilot Makchev, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, Krakowian, who recently died in a crash, and he was a national hero there in Poland, and President Trump really wanted to pay tribute to that fighter. Strategic implications really quickly. Poland as a regional anchor. The Polish president aimed to reinforce Poland's importance as a NATO bulwark and Russian aggression. As you know, Kristi, they share a border with Russia. So if anybody has a stake in the ground or any type of interest, special interest, it is Poland, who shares a small border with Russia. And an analyst noted that the high stakes success could deepen U.S. security ties, while failure might signal a waning American commitment to NATO's eastern flank. So just a lot going on here today with that meeting, that private lunch that the two presidents had together. A lot of press here, a lot of Polish press here as well. A lot of talk, obviously, about the Ukraine-Russia war, again, considering the shared borderline with Russia and Poland, and just a lot in common of these two presidents. Like I mentioned, both are considered nationalists, have tendencies towards America or Poland first. So it's a lot of interesting stuff happening today. The Polish president took off, I'd say, about half an hour ago. A lot of people tried to get a picture. I actually waved at him. I don't know if it's common for media to wave at a president, but usually they come by in their motorcade or their limousine and they roll up the window. You can kind of see their shadow in there. It's dark and people are shouting questions, and I guess it's to their network wants them to get that question, but it's really pointless. And he's not going to roll down the window and answer any questions. But I decided to just give him a wave, and he waved back. I think he was kind of happy to see a media person friendly giving him a wave as he left and headed out of here. From what I understand, to meet the Pope next. President Trump said, "Give my regards to the Pope," which is great. So he is on his way to meet the Pope, and like I mentioned earlier, just a lot of media here today at the White House, and an overall productive day. And we do have that clip. I wanted to share that clip with you as well, Kristi. That clip of President Trump talking about that fighter and why they flew those planes over the White House today. Take a listen.
And the flyover was very much in honor of your great pilot who just passed away recently, who was a legend in Poland. You might want to say something about him.
Yes, of course, it was a terrific accident in Poland. Thank you for this gesture that F-35 opened our meeting. Major Krakowian was one of the best Polish pilots, well-honed Polish pilots, and he died. He lost 2 children, so it was a great tragedy.
He was a legend in Poland, actually, a legend as a pilot. He was an incredible pilot, and I think he went to the Air Force Academy, actually. But he was a fantastic pilot, and it was a big setback. The people of Poland are very, very sad. So we thought we'd do that. That was the single plane that swooped up.
And machines, American machines, opened our meeting. It was great, and we are waiting for 32 F-35s in Poland. So it also shows that we have great relations according to the best military equipment on the world, American equipment, which build Polish security too.
And important for those diplomatic relations to continue as our president is trying to bring about peace, them being a border to Russia. As you said, I think that this is an important relationship. foster and try and get some support with. I just can't help but think, like, as we have yet another busy day of Trump hosting another world leader, it blows my mind that over the weekend there's rumors going around that President Trump was sick or dying because he dared to take a Labor Day weekend, a little couple days off. I mean, it's insane. We cover the president, you even more than me, every day, and he does so many press conferences, so many cabinet meetings that he invites the press in. And here's just another example. Yet the legacy media is just desperate to try and paint that he is sickly.
Yes, as you know, this president has been tremendously busy. I'd say 10 times more so than the Biden administration, and a lot more, I think, than even the first administration. From other White House reporters that I've talked to, this has been a much more busy administration, especially over the month of August, when generally it's very slow. There was stuff going on every day here. So yes, Labor Day is for all American workers, including the president. And he was asked that question. I don't have that one for you at the press conference today at the in the Oval Office. A reporter did ask the president what his reaction was to the rumors that he died. And he didn't even hear it, because I guess he really was taking a break, hopefully playing some well-deserved golf. But the president said he was surprised to hear that, but he's very much alive, thank God. And the president took a lot of other questions. And I always think it's really interesting when these world leaders visit, Kristi, because there's so many of them that come, and the media just has eyes for President Trump. Obviously, you would make the assumption that a lot of these people in the media room would have questions for the Polish president or for Zelensky or for the president of Japan or whoever might be visiting. But all questions, I'd say 90% of them, are directed at President Trump. So President Trump answered a number of questions today, from talking about the Epstein file, press conference going on over Congress with victims. He made mention of that, to that boat strike in Venezuela, that strike on the Venezuelan drug boat, which everybody was talking about, obviously, this past weekend. So President Trump did address that.
Sarah,
today a reporter asked that question. Right, we have somebody jumping in the shot. Mike Lindell behind me. He's right there. Here. We have Mike Lindell at the White House today meeting with the president in other news. But regarding those drug boats, Kristi, here is the president today talking about those drug boats and that strike the U.S. Did on the drug boats from Venezuela. Please take a listen.
On the boat, you had massive amounts of drugs. We have tapes of them speaking. It was massive amounts of drugs coming into our country to kill a lot of people. And everybody fully understands that. In fact, you see it. You see the bags of drugs all over the boat. And they were hit. Obviously, they won't be doing it again. And I think a lot of other people won't be doing it again when they watch that tape. They're going to say, let's not do this. We have to protect our country, and we're going to. Venezuela's been a very bad actor. They've been, as you know, they've been sending millions of people into our country, many of them Tren de Aragua, some of the worst gangs, some of the worst people anywhere in the world in terms of gangs. And we had some in Washington, D.C. We took care of them very quickly, but they're out of here. They're gone. But Venezuela's been very bad, both in terms of drugs and sending some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world into our country. They emptied out, you don't know this, but they emptied out their prisons in Venezuela, and they emptied them out into the United States of America. And that's part of the problem we have. We're getting them out. We're getting them out rapidly, but it's caused a tremendous problem. And Pete and all of the people that are working very hard to rectify the stupidity of the Biden administration, allowing these people to pour into our country with open borders. We are paying a big price as a country for the incompetence of the Biden administration. But think of it. Opened up prisons, drug dealers, drug lords, everything coming out of Venezuela. They said, and we said, we're not going to put up with it anymore. So Venezuela has been one of the worst actors in the whole group, and we have a group of pretty bad actors.
So, yeah, there you go. The president again talking about that. I guess some people are saying controversial. I'm sure that the liberal media will have a lot of questions about that strike at the press briefing whenever that happens this week with Carolyn Levitt, or for the president as well. But that's good news for a lot of people who obviously have family members, like so many Americans or friends, that died from fentanyl, because, obviously Tren de Aragua is notorious for sneaking these drugs into the country. So, that strike a lot of people are saying was necessary. And the president also spoke about crime and D.C., obviously another big topic. There are rallies outside the White House every day with very obviously misinformed protesters regarding the president and his stance to make D.C. safer. They have an issue with that for some reason. Regardless, Muriel Bowser, as you know, the mayor of D.C., now agreeing with the president. At first, not so, but now there was an actual opinion put out on the Washington Post, which I was shocked, called, this is the name of the article, Bowser puts D.C. first by cooperating with Trump on public safety. And she actually signed an executive order yesterday, as you know, ordering the D.C. mayor signed an executive order providing a pathway for the district to move beyond the emergency and to cooperate with the president. So she wants to cooperate with President Trump. But here is President Trump slamming a soft on crime Democrats and saying that they're against preventing crime. This was at that Oval Office briefing with the press today with the Polish president. Please take a listen.
This is the best issue of all. They are against preventing crime. They are fighting us. I want to go into Chicago and have this incompetent governor that doesn't want us. Do you know that this weekend 72 people were shot in Chicago? I'm embarrassed to say it in front of the president of Poland. 11 people were killed. 72 people were shot. Last week, 7 people were killed in Chicago, a place which is probably your number one place. I hate to say it.
Yeah, a lot of Poles in Chicago.
And we got to keep it safe. But 7 people were killed. The week before that, 5 people were killed, and 21 people were shot. This is in 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, they lost almost 35 people were killed. It could have been stopped. If you look at Washington, D.C., 3 weeks ago, it was the same or worse. And now it's considered a totally safe zone.
It is kind of a head scratcher that Mayor Bowser.
So that was the president. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Kristi. You cut off for a second. Yeah, she has.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's realizing that actually, maybe she'll get reelected if there's less murders and crime in D.C. and working with the president, or not, at least not fighting the president, is a good idea because obviously it worked. There were no murders, less carjackings, less crime in general since that takeover, since that federalization is what people were calling it, and it's set to expire, as you know, in 30 days. So now Muriel Bowser is basically saying, we could do this without the emergency order. We're willing to work with the administration in keeping D.C. safe and all of these things. So it seems like she's now more open to actually working with President Trump and keeping D.C. residents safe. So that is good news. And President Trump also said that they're making a determination, the administration is, about going to Chicago or maybe a red place like New Orleans, which is interesting because I was talking to some people outside interviewing them and they mentioned New Orleans as a place that has a lot of crime and saying, well, why doesn't President Trump send, National Guard into places like New Orleans? He's only picking these liberal cities, but the president's open to sending them to red cities as well that, that need the help. So here is the president talking about that determination about whether they're going to go into other cities besides Washington, D.C. Again, today in the Oval Office. Please take a listen.
Washington, D.C. is a totally safe city. You're not reporting any crime because there is none. They said crime is down 87%, and I said, no, it's not. It's down 100%. We have a great thing going. I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago, or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad. So we're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, and you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C. But we could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us. To go into Chicago if we don't have the support of some of these politicians. But I'll tell you who is supporting us, the people of Chicago. And I sort of want them to let it be known they have incompetent people.
And speaking of, really quickly, Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana, he did retweet the clip that we just played. And the quote was, "We will take President Trump's help from New Orleans to Shreveport." So Shreveport, that is in Louisiana, obviously. So Governor Landry, happy to hear that today and saying we would love to have President Trump's support. And he put that up on X only about 2 hours ago, Kristi.
Well, hopefully some of these other city and state leaders will follow Bowser's lead and at least work with the president. It doesn't seem like this is a winning strategy to celebrate and defend crime, but we never have confidence in the Democrats to think ahead of what makes logical sense. But Kara, thank you for your reporting today. Lots covered, and I'm going to let you get back to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, we have Dr. Mary Talley Bowden here with us with reaction to Trump's potential change in heart about the COVID-19 shots. We're going to take this quick break. We'll be back.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice, speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LindellTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LindellTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Airwater Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com. Too many pharmacies and insurance companies are blocking the medications that actually work. That's why I recommend All Family Pharmacy. They give you access to treatments like ivermectin now, starting at just $2 a capsule. They also have methylene blue, hydroxychloroquine, and so much more. They're helping you stay prepared, and they've dropped their prices by 25%. Also use promo code Lindell10, you save even more. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Use promo code Lindell10 and get the medicine you need. To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
Donald Trump is raising serious questions about the mRNA COVID vaccines from Operation Warp Speed. He's pushing Pfizer to release their data amid calls for transparency from critics like RFK Jr. New peer-reviewed studies in top journals are linking these shots to cases of myocarditis, especially in young men. And the FDA just updated safety labels in 2025 to include class warnings for myocarditis. backed by global data that's shaking up those early safety claims. But wait, legacy media, they kept on telling us that those shots were completely safe and effective. Here's a flashback.
We do have some breaking news. Drug maker Pfizer just announcing the results of its vaccine trial for adolescents. It says its coronavirus shot was 100% effective at preventing infection and sickness among 12 to 15-year-olds. This could be a major game changer for reopening schools across America. So joining us now is Dr. Chris Purnell. She's a public health physician and fellow at the American College of Preventive Medicine. Dr. Purnell, great to see you. 100% effective? Is that, I mean, John and I haven't heard numbers like that. Is that unusual to find that efficacy rate?
It's not only unusual, it's not true. Fact check false. Yet the legacy media, they continue to smear RFK Jr. as he's trying to shake up and clean up the corruption at the CDC. The New York Times and others are running reports saying RFK Jr. is endangering every American's health. And here's what NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya has to say about that. He says at least two of the authors of this piece were in charge of the CDC during the era when it embraced politicized school closures and COVID vaccine mandates. For them to criticize Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. for efforts to restore gold standard science to the CDC is what harms public health. Someone very familiar with the lies of the legacy media is Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. She is a Houston-based board-certified ENT, founder of Breathe MD, and a leading voice for medical freedom. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Bowden. And wow, I mean, it's so hard to keep up with everything that's going on when it comes to these shots. But that was a huge eye raise when we saw what President Trump posted about seeking the truth.
Yeah, I had to read that post 4 times to believe my eyes. And I think it sort of shows you maybe where the sticking point has been all along. It's always been a question, okay, what is going on? Why is it taking so long? Because we thought when Kennedy took office, became health secretary, that, yeah, bam, shots, it would be taken care of, right? And now here we are. I think he's been in his position over 200 days now. And it's just taking a very long time. And there's one camp that says, oh, just be patient, this is just. And the other camp is said, like, I'm in the other camp. It's like, we need to get these shots off the market immediately. I mean, I, as a physician, have never seen anything like it with any other product on the market. I continue to see patients on a daily basis whose lives have been completely destroyed by these shots. So, you know, my response to that post, I am hopeful. Like, you know, people love Trump for his candor, because he doesn't seem to have the filter that a lot of politicians have. He kind of speaks his mind, for better or for worse. So I read that at face value. I don't take this as a big chess game, and it gives me hope.
Yeah, and that's what we are all in this for, is hope. I mean, you're coming from the perspective as you're seeing patients that are suffering, you're trying to help them, you know how deadly and dangerous this has been on the American people. And so that's where your urgency comes from. But when you say, when you're saying, why is this taking so long? This is clear to me. The pushback you get is, oh, Dr. Bowden, you have no idea how hard it is to get things done in DC. We don't know what kind of pressures he's under. When you consider that, and you have these legacy media outlets saying, oh, it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that is endangering Americans' health. Will he resign? Because they want to call that into existence. Do you think there's a point at which he will buckle under pressure, and which pressure? The pressure from those of us like us, or from the campaign to get rid of him?
Well, the legacy media does not have the power that they once had. I mean, people that, you look at how many Americans got the last COVID shot, and the CDC actually took this information off their website, so I don't have an up-to-date number. But the last time I checked, it was 20% of adults got the 2023, 2024 version of the COVID shot, which means that people just aren't buying the legacy media. They're not buying what the CDC is telling us. And for some reason, our politicians have forgotten that. They're not listening to the people. Why are they listening to the New York Times? I mean, they need to listen to the people. And the uptake, or the dismal uptake, of these shots is an excellent reflection of how America is listening now.
Yeah, absolutely. But when we talk about the speed at which things that happen or just getting things done, I believe we have a great example in Dr. Joseph Lapato, and he made an announcement just recently. Let's just play a quick clip of that.
That we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them.
Now I can't play the whole sound because he just continues to says all of them, like over and over again, and then he goes on to talk about personal autonomy and just the ridiculousness of everything. Would love to see him have a position on a federal level. Any thoughts on any chances of getting to see that, or if RFK Jr. can maybe take a notes on how you do this thing?
Well, once again, Florida sort of led the way during the pandemic. They were the ones that really spearheaded monoclonal antibodies. Texas was always trying to catch up to Florida. They've had some great medical freedom bills that came out under DeSantis. So this is par for the course for Florida. I love Dr. Ladapo. He would be amazing in a federal position. But, he has made the mistake of saying that the COVID shots should be taken off the market. So, obviously, the sticking point for the current administration, you can't have somebody speaking that kind of truth in a national level. But it's interesting, before the pandemic, I never even thought about the vaccine mandates, all these shots that kids are required to get into school. I just did it. I have 4 kids. It didn't even cross my mind. And now I look at it so differently. No one, the only person who should be in charge of your child's health is the parents. They should get the ultimate decision, not a school, not a doctor. I write exemptions for people, but I even cringe at that because it shouldn't be up to me. It should be up to the parents. Parents get informed consent and they decide. And I am just ecstatic about this latest move from Florida. I think this should be a national thing. I think we need to make a constitutional amendment, just making all medical mandates outlawed. It's just fundamentally wrong.
Absolutely. And it goes against the freedom that our country is built on, because this certainly isn't freedom when we can feel pressured or coerced or are essentially lied to. You spoke about, obviously, the importance of medical freedom and the road to get there. What are you watching, or what can people get more involved in as far as legislation to give us more medical autonomy or go in this direction?
Well, there's been a growing number of states that have made ivermectin over the counter. Texas is the 5th state, started with Tennessee, then Idaho, Arkansas, Louisiana, and now Texas. North Carolina is got a bill under consideration that passed in the House, and now they need the Senate to actually move on it. But in my opinion, the FDA should just make it over the counter for everybody. It's extremely safe. It's become really politicized. Access is still much more difficult than it should be. Price is way too high. If the FDA could over the counter, that would be a great move. Ivermectin works for viruses, any RNA virus. It blocks the entry of the virus into the nucleus of the cell. Has anti-inflammatory effects. It's incredibly safe. So FDA needs to make it over the counter. And then, yes, there are 3 bills under consideration that I have been watching with high interest. Thomas Massie has a bill to repeal the PrEP Act. The PrEP Act is what's standing in the way of accountability for the crimes of the pandemic. All the lawsuits have an extremely difficult time getting through just because of the PrEP Act. The PrEP Act does not expire until 2029. So that's Massey's bill. He's pushing hard on that. That would make a huge impact because we all need accountability. We've got a festering wound. The wound is not going away. That wound is not going to heal on its own until we put some people in jail. The second act is by Representative in Arizona. And this would remove the liability protection for vaccine manufacturers, which is common sense. Why do they get special treatment? If their products are as safe and effective as they claim to be, then they should be under the same liability, repercussions as any other product on the market. Very common sense law. And finally, we have Representative Greg Steube from Florida, the Grace Act, and that would eliminate any need for it would eliminate the need for a religious exemption. So anybody that has a religious objection to getting a medication or a vaccine automatically gets exempted. There's no need to justify it or go through hoops. And this is along the line, hopefully with Dr. Latipo's recent press conference today about ending mandates in Florida, that will give Representative Steube's bill a lot more traction.
We saw this happen with, or at least in my personal experience, we saw this happen with the military a lot. I have family members that are in the military that were resisting the mandated shots they were being asked to give when it came to the COVID-19 shots. And they would turn in their religious exemptions, and then they would be basically harassed for proof. Like, is this really your religious conviction? Like, what other shots did you get? And so, yes, we definitely need, we shouldn't, what's the point of having a religious exemption if then you're going to be grilled like, is that really your conviction? So yeah, I would love to see that one in particular, since I just saw how vicious they were to our service members. I mean, one of my cousins had been serving for nearly 25 years, and he was having to stand up for his right to not take an experimental vaccine. So great to see that there's at least some legislation that they're trying to get through on that. Lastly, I'll just ask you, it's flu shot season, and we just talked about ivermectin, but I was interested to see on your page, and y'all should be following her at MD Breathe. And I saw that on your page, you are saying ivermectin as a way to prepare for the season. Curious, are you someone that had taken the flu shot in the past, and now you're going to, because of everything that we've gone through, now you're going to just go in this different direction, or how did that evolve?
Oh yeah, I was diligent about getting my flu shot, and make my kids get the flu shot. And actually, I ended up in the ICU with pneumonia and sepsis, despite having a flu shot 1 year from the flu. But that still didn't wake me up. What really woke me up was COVID, and then really digging into the data on the flu shot. And if you look at the data, it does not prevent hospitalization and death. And that's that's the ultimate outcome, right? And we have early treatment, just like COVID. We have early treatment. And if you're not comfortable with ivermectin, there's another medication called Xofluza. It's a 1-dose pill. It's expensive and it's hard to get sometimes. But that's an option. But you look at the data on, and it would be great to have a big study looking at comparing ivermectin and Xofluza and the flu shot and doing nothing and just see what the outcomes are. But we do know that ivermectin inhibits entry of the virus into the nucleus of the cell, which is necessary for the virus to survive and propagate. It also inhibits an enzyme that the virus needs to propagate. And it also has 20 mechanisms of action, most of those anti-inflammatory. Plus, it's super safe, and it should be very cheap. It has become very expensive only because it's become politicized. But under normal circumstances, this medication would cost pennies per pill.
I have had such a terrible experience with the flu shot and never got it again. I don't know if you recall when they had this campaign for you don't need to get a shot, you can get your flu shot up through your nose, and there was this like liquid one, and I was reporting at the time and was like, oh, this will be good for the story so that I have the B-roll to show how it's done and can speak to what it feels like. And so I guinea pigged myself out for that, and I had never gotten so sick. Like, I was out for 2 weeks. Now they don't even have it available anymore, I don't think.
No,
but that was the last time.
No, we need to talk about this because they do have it out and they're sending it to people's homes. It's a live virus. That's why you got so sick, because you squirted a live virus up your nose, and you were probably fighting something to begin with, and it just overwhelmed you. You may have had the flu at the time, and then you just squirted more flu in your nose. But it's called flu mist. They are mailing it to people's homes. This is a live virus. I posted this on X. I posted this on my Substack, an article about it. There's very shoddy data. There's nothing that shows that it prevents hospitalization or death. There's concerning side effects. There's poor numbers. There's no long-term follow-up on this, and then they are mailing them to people's homes. Just complete idiocy.
Yes. Oh, I mean, the blessing in disguise was it definitely sent me down a road of like, what did I just do to myself? I'm never doing that again. And made me curious about some other things. So I guess that was the blessing in disguise. But wow, I didn't know that they were still offering that because I hadn't seen anything about it since, because this was years ago that I did that.
Took it off. They took it off for a while. Yeah, they took it off the market for a while. Yeah. And now they're like revamping it for some reason and double downing by sending it to your house.
They're like, we won't take the liability, just do it in your own home and see what happens. Awful. I just can't ever believe that this is how we treat our society, our citizens. We're just guinea pigging them out, and it just all for greed and money is what you end up having to come down to. It's just awful. Well, thank you for being so passionate about and so following your convictions. And I just love what a firecracker you are on with folks, and just keep it going. We so appreciate it. We need your tenacity, and so appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, coming up, another push for Epstein disclosure. We're bringing you the demand for answers on Capitol Hill today. But first, just want to remind you that if you appreciate what we're doing here on LindellTV, getting those interviews, getting those topics that you're not hearing as much about, just unfettered, then you can support LindellTV by going to mypillow.com, and you can use promo code KL, Kristi Leigh, KL, and you can get steep discounts on some of my favorites, like the My Slippers. We are heading into fall season. The My Slippers are so cozy and warm. You can wear them inside and outside. And we have the towels, also a favorite of mine. They actually dry you off. Sometimes you get those towels that is just like, ew, like, what did I just wipe myself down with? And then becoming a home favorite is the Rev 7 energy drinks, a great, healthier alternative to all the other stupid nonsense out there when it comes to energy drinks that are probably just pure poison that you're putting in your body. So all different things to explore there on mypillow.com. Use promo code KL to support the show. All right, we are going to dive into another big story that was happening there in DC on Capitol Hill today. Jeffrey Epstein survivors, led by voices like Lisa Phillips, they stormed the U.S. Capitol demanding the full release of all Epstein files to bring justice and transparency. According to BBC News, they're even compiling their own list of Epstein associates, saying we know their names. But fear for their safety, they keep it under wraps. Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, they're leading the charge. MTG has been on this. For full transparency and declassification, our Alison Steinberg pushed for answers on Epstein's suspicious connections. And here she is with that question.
Mr. Edwards, is there any evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was involved with or tied to the CIA or a foreign intelligence operation?
I think that the safest thing for me to say is all files should come out, whether it is for this with the CIA, FinCEN, SEC, FBI. I'm not just making these up haphazardly. I'm giving you a roadmap where to look.
She did a number of other interviews, so keep it locked in here to LindellTV White House Coverage Live, because I'm sure Allison will be featured in Spin Room. Vanessa Broussard is after me, and she will have some more of those interviews coming out of that. It's some wild stuff. All right, Congress is back to work. House Oversight Chairman James Comer also turning up the heat on the Jeffrey Epstein case, demanding all suspicious activity reports tied to Epstein and President Ghislaine Maxwell from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent by September 15th to scrutinize the Fed's handling of their sex trafficking probes and Epstein's death. He's also subpoenaed big names like Bill and Hillary Clinton, Robert Mueller, James Comey, and Loretta Lynch for depositions, while his task force is digging into DOJ records and postponing Maxwell's testimony. Plus, they're meeting with Epstein survivors and grilling former U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta soon. Comer's quote says it all. He says it's crucial for oversight on sex trafficking laws and this botched investigation. And now that Congress is back from vacation, the House Oversight Committee is ramping up under Chairman James Comer, with the GOP control boosting investigations like a deep dive into President Joe Biden's mental decline and his aide's auto pen use, where they've done 11 interviews and have 3 more lined up. Plus, they're subpoenaing Act Blue over shady fundraising fraud and digging into allegedly fake crime stats in D.C. after Trump federalized the police. Big wins include slashing taxpayer funds for NPR and PBS, exposing Biden's issues, holding Dem sanctuary leaders accountable, and safeguarding cash from boondoggles like California's high-speed rail. Comer says it is all about real accountability. So yes, we can kind of eye roll when they take their long vacations and they dip out when we know there's things that have to be done, but they are certainly back to work, keep them busy, and we will keep them accountable to make sure we get some of this stuff done. How am I doing on time? Okay, we're going to keep going. All right, so Judge Janine, she is now giving an update on DC crime. Watch this.
Hi, everyone. It's Judge Janine. It is Tuesday, September the 3rd. After the Labor Day weekend, there were over 200 arrests and almost 20 guns that were seized as a result of the surge of President Trump to make D.C. safe. Last night alone, there were 70 arrests and 3 guns seized. So that makes a total, folks, of 1,669 arrests since the surge began, and a total of 168 guns that are off the street and cannot be used to kill or maim or shoot someone. Now, unfortunately, there are 104 homicides that have been committed up to this point, but we continue to fight the fight. We continue to try to make D.C. safe. And I think what's interesting is we're starting to see fewer felons in possession of guns. But I'll get back to you on that. I'll have more on that in a couple days when we analyze the stats.
Just love her in that position. She is so inspiring, another firecracker, if you will. But, you know, these Democrats, they love crime so much that Cali is kicking the National Guard out, as I'm sure you've heard. A federal judge blocking President Trump from sending National Guard troops there for law enforcement duties like arrests and crowd control, ruling it violates the Posse Comitatus Act. This stems from a lawsuit by the state challenging the deployment amid protests in Los Angeles over immigration policies. And while the ruling's just for California, Trump's eyeing guard use in other cities, as we covered before, to tackle crime. Gavin Newsom is gloating about this as if blocking help to tackle crime is a great thing. And we also have Pritzker protecting crime as well. Governor J.B. Pritzker is rejecting Trump's help even after a tragic Labor Day weekend we just went through in Chicago, where my sister happens to live. And that's where at least 54 people were shot, including 7 fatalities from drive-by shootings and homicides across neighborhoods like Bronzeville and South Shore. President Trump blasted Governor J.B. Pritzker over the crime spike, threatening to deploy federal agents and National Guard troops. But Pritzker firing back, calling it unprecedented, illegal, and un-American. It's un-American to protect our citizens. It looks like Pritzker is just another racist who refused to protect Chicago's residents. Watch.
In Chicago, everybody got to get down. Everybody got to get down because they shooting. Everybody down. Look, these kids are running. They shooting. We can't have no fun in Chicago, man. No fun, man. This is terrible. I ought to throw a goddamn flag. Because this y'all neighborhood.
Okay, so things like that are happening regularly in Chicago. And you see his skin color, he's black, and most of the people around him were black. But there's a protest going on in Chicago today. Check this out.
He goes on to say, you noticed anything about that crowd? All safe white people that don't seem to care about the violence surrounding the Black citizens of Chicago. And you know it's pretty bad when Morning Joe is on the same page as President Trump. Here's what he had to say.
Concern is you have leaders in Chicago that see this, as you say. We've been reading about this for years now, every weekend, and maybe crime has gone down. But, you know, we had the mayor of Chicago on last week saying, oh, we don't need any more police officers. Police officers aren't the answer. No police officers. You know, I think he said no 5 times. You look what's happening this weekend. You look so, you know, I actually think that J.B. Pritzker should do something radical. I think he should pick up the phone, call the president, and say, you know and I know you don't have the constitutional authority to deploy the National Guard here and to police my you can do that in D.C., you can't do that in Chicago. But let's partner up. These are the most dangerous parts of my state. We would love to figure out how to have a partnership that's constitutional, that respects the sort of balance of federalism between the federal government and the state government. And let's work together to save lives. Because right now, just hey, nothing to see here moving along. No problem here. Hey, Donald Trump.
So, of course, he has this qualifier saying, without evidence, as they like to say, that he doesn't have a constitutional right to do this. That is yet to be seen. But he is saying that he thinks that J.B. Pritzker should pick up the phone and ask for help. I mean, maybe take a page out of what the mayor of D.C. is doing and working to solve the problem. With head-scratching policies like these, it's no wonder Democrats have slim pickings so far for presidential contenders. In 2028, California Governor Gavin Newsom's surged to the top spot in polls by trolling Trump online with merch and bold claims like calling him the most destructive figure in his lifetime, though critics doubt his appeal in the Rust Belt states. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she only has her long name to be proud about, I guess. She ranks second as a charismatic progressive, pushing Medicare for all and the Green New Deal, but her left-wing stance might alienate moderates. And, you know, we still have Kamala Harris to deal with. She is sitting at third, getting ready to kick off her memoir tour. So we'll see how that goes for her. But going back to rogue judges, we've got the bold ruling to kick the National Guard out of Cali, and now a judge letting a woman arrested for killing the president walk free. 50-year-old Natalie Rose Jones from NYC was arrested for threatening to kill President Trump with a bladed object, posting menacing messages on social media starting August 2nd, and even tagging federal agencies like the FBI and DHS. She traveled to Washington with intent to carry it out, but after U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro vowed to prosecute her fully, an Obama-appointed judge quietly released Jones on electronic monitoring and ordering a psych eval, overruling an earlier bond denial. This is sparking outrage, of course, and calls for investigation, with critics questioning if such leniency would happen for threats against other presidents. Of course, it's Judge Boasberg who has repeatedly ruled against President Trump. He is the one responsible for letting this potential assassin go free. All right, we're going to try and hit this next commercial break, and I'll wrap up on the other side.
Are you taking advantage of President Trump's golden age? Or what if I told you can just sit back and earn money as President Trump continues to repair our economy and make America energy independent again? I'm talking about oil royalty checks. With the help of the Oxford Club, thousands of Americans have unlocked this secret hack that has put money back in hardworking American pockets. Financial expert and LindellTV supporter Mark Litchenfield has showed me how. It's a way to profit from America's energy production that's been working quietly for decades, even when oil companies were struggling. So go to LindellOilBoom.com to find out how this all works and why it's relevant right now. That's LindellOilBoom.com. Whether it's being a weekend warrior or spending time with your family, feeling your best is the key to doing the things you love. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Nirvanta. It's a natural solution designed to help you stay active and live well naturally. Nirvanta is a topical blend of all natural essential oils like frankincense, myrrh, and a proprietary gold standard plant stock extract. It's perfect for your hands, feet, knees, back, or anywhere else that needs a little extra care. Use Nirvanta proactively as part of your daily maintenance routine, and you're guaranteed you're going to feel the difference. Simply massage Nirvanta in for at least 60 seconds, 2 to 3 times a day to get the best results. And if you're not completely satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked. There's simply no risk and no reason not to try Nirvanta today. Right now, you get 15% off with code Lindell exclusively at nirvantahealth.com. So stop reaching out for that medicine cabinet. Get Nirvanta instead and experience the difference. Go to nirvantahealth.com. Use code Lindell to get 15% off today. Nirvanta Health. Live well naturally. If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again. And 2 of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on the pounds, and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula takes care of that. It supports thriving liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down and revitalize your energy levels. Next is lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet, this is for you. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush away extra fluid and toxins out of your body. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 35% off Liver Health Formula and Lymph System Support, along with 50 plus other health supplements that Pure Health Research has to offer. So head over to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, promo code Lindell to save 35% on your order today.
In election security news, check out LindellTV.com. We're spotlighting a bombshell criminal complaint filed back in April of 24 by former Michigan Senator Patrick Kolbeck and several reps against Dominion Voting System CEO John Polis, alleging 15 counts of perjury during his sworn testimony before the Michigan Senate Oversight Committee in December of 2020. They claim Polis lied about key issues like voting machines being internet connected, ballots sent overseas, employee background checks, and the possibility of altering election outcomes, backed by 39 pages of evidence, including emails, contracts, and forensic analysis from places like Antrim and Maricopa counties. Despite the push for a full investigation to restore trust in elections, Michigan AG Daniel Nassel declined to pursue it, leaving critics calling for more transparency and accountability. Of course, Trump is staying on top of this. President Trump truth, voter ID must be part of every single vote, no exceptions. I will be doing an executive order to that end. Also, no mail-in voting except for those that are very ill and the far away military. Use paper ballots only, President DJT. And we're still keeping an eye on that, hoping he signs that executive order soon. Our Mike Lindell is about to be meeting with the president soon. Go make sure you're following at Real Lindell TV on X. You can see him talking to people, being passionate about election security. And keep it locked in here. Vanessa Broussard is next with Spin Room. Thanks for watching. And that's your DC Dispatch.
Too many farmers